Welcome to another weekly episode of Marked Out Radio. We are the premier podcast focused on the hobby of collecting autographs and photo ops from celebrities, and maybe some not celebrities. We talk about autograph conventions, on the street encounters, and everything else about this kooky hobby. I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we finished off New York Comic Con week with another venture to New York City for Reese Witherspoon's book talk. Apparently she published, well, not apparently, I mean, she is publishing a fiction novel, I guess a thriller, she called it, as a collaboration with pretty successful author Harlan Coben. And we went to, it was a town hall in New York City for a book talk and a VIP meet and greet with Reese Witherspoon. So I know last week we had talked about how much we were dreading it. All in all, how do you think it went down?
The event was easy. It was smooth. I'm glad I went. As I said, even in, having done like 7, of the last 7 days, I was probably 4 or 5. I was running around getting combos. I wouldn't have passed it up. She's a very big name. She doesn't get much. She doesn't do much. People on the street don't get her often. Definitely not in this quality. The talk was a little bit insufferable. I think you had the same reaction. Reese and Harlan were acting like they had written 1984, like as if this book was going to like touch future generations. And let's be completely honest, even without reading it, I'm sure it is absolutely not going to be some iconic piece of literature.
So what? Let's face facts. The book talk itself. First of all, we had both predicted what the audience would be like in the VIP section of the book talk. Would you say our prediction was accurate?
Absolutely spot on.
So this is a hard one for me because I take my seat in the front row and I am absolutely surrounded by graphers. There is not a human being to be found anywhere nearby, and it was one of those it's one of those things where like they were all talking about the hobby and graphing and who they get this. That is always there's always a touch of like humble bragging as part of these conversations, but it is very challenging for most of these people to like sit down and not talk. So it was just this kind of incessant babbling about all kinds of things hobby related. And I'm sitting there and I'm trying my best just to, dissociate more or less and just to not, be engaged with all this, because there was a lot of, as tends to be with the people in this hobby, there was a lot of like nervous, anxious energy about how well the organization of the event would be run and stuff. So it was just really, and I really try my hardest to push any anxiety out of my head at all, because at the end of the day, none of this stuff really matters. And they were making it very hard to do that. So it was just this constant nervous energy from everyone. Which ultimately led to a pretty smooth event. She was up there with Harlan Coben. What did you make of the whole hour-long interview with George Stephanopoulos?
I mean, if I didn't keep rolling my eyes about how they were treating this project, I probably would have enjoyed it more. But I mean, it was fine. That's what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to hype what you're doing and make it seem really important. It was airy enough that it didn't feel like I was like dying in my seat. It was quick. It was quick moving. They stuck to the hour format that we were hoping for and expecting. They didn't bash us with like a ton of audience questions. Harlan had a couple questions on the paper, but I mean, I don't even know where they came from. And what I liked most as I suppose a content creator, they actually encouraged you to record. They just asked you to keep it to 3 minutes or less. So like the metas were rolling, my phone was rolling. I was able to get what I think was a damn good TikTok and reel out of that. So on that level, it was fine.
It was just so, for lack of better words, annoyingly pretentious. I was actually kind of taken aback at how off-putting, I guess it was.
But I mean, she literally wrote the female James Bond character that generations of female actresses can play in all the movies that will come and be remade over and over again from this iconic work.
I mean, Yeah, no, I understand the snark that you're putting out there. I get it. But I mean, there was a distinct lack of self-awareness, I guess. A distinct lack of self-awareness among those who are involved in this production. I mean, you got George Stephanopoulos there, who's got to be, I mean, he's got to be pushing 80, right? Am I wrong?
I mean, I think he looks pretty good for if he's pushing 80, but yeah, he's been
He's
around for a while.
He's 65. Well, I mean, he has a whole set of fake teeth. Who are we kidding? Because his teeth were just like leaping out at me from the stage, and like so that's going on, and then just listening to Reese, just everything she said, and I'm a Reese Witherspoon fan, and more than you,
yeah,
and everything she said made me want to just actively beat myself to death with some kind of blunt object. And it was for me very, very hard to do. I thought Harlan Coben was actually kind of funny. And I didn't know him from a hole in the wall, to be honest. He's whatever. But I thought she was so insufferable and came across with no self-awareness at all that it was like, I don't know, man. It was hard. If it was an hour, and I was really struggling to get through that hour.
Here's the deal, and I don't want to bash her too much or turn, I don't think anyone really tunes in for my my film critiques, but she's not even like Meryl Streep as far as acting goes. She's a movie star who has a lot of good movies, and she's, a solid actress. And I mean, I think you sort of have to be somewhat out of touch to then all of a sudden think at like whatever age she is now, 50 years old, let me parlay this film career into, I'm going to write a novel. And like people start writing at all different ages. And some of your greatest authors, I'm sure, started at very weird times in their life, as far as it's not all like you get out of high school and just start writing. But I mean, I think anyone like this that like tries to do something else that is like a completely different skill that you probably, as a betting man, don't possess, you have to be kind of delusional to think that's a good idea. And the fact that she's who she is what provided her the opportunity to do it. I'm sure Harlan, he's no Mark Twain, but I'm sure he was kind of riding his bike with training wheels, writing this project with an actress who'd never done it before. And he just figured, well, he's getting a little bit of a rub. He's already a big name as far as sales go. And now he's up on stages around the country with an A-list actress. It's not bad for his brand. So I'm sure he kind of went in knowing that this is kind of probably not his greatest work, and he's just playing along for the crowd.
Yeah, and even the way they described their process, which basically her babbling to him and then him writing about it, like she didn't actually do any writing. He did all the writing.
Yeah.
And of course he was up there just kissing her ass about everything, how she's a wonderful collaborator. Look, I get God bless. I understand, you got to eat, right? I understand all of this, but it was just, I don't know. There was something about it that was just so annoying and insufferable. And maybe it's just my overall general malaise towards these types of events in recent times. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think anyone was watching this thing thinking, "Oh my God, she's so whatever." Long story short, it was fine. I have no. And the meet and greet itself was actually kind of funny. The way they did it was, well, first of all, they didn't give us any information until like 2 hours before. It's funny. We were complaining about it. We had recorded the show last Monday morning, and we still hadn't gotten the information about this, and we didn't get it until much later in the afternoon. So we were really down to the wire getting information. But the way they did it was kind of funny. And I was wondering, I didn't actually ask you about this at the time. They when you checked in, they gave you an index card with your name printed on it. And I was like, what the heck is that for? And what it was for was right before you get up to them, their assistant reads your card to them to tell you your name so that they can like greet you by name. Was that what you expected?
No, I kind of thought they would just take the card on like basically a card for a book swap. And that was sort of how they would have proof that you picked up your book. That was not what I expected.
Yeah. So what'd you think of that?
I mean, it's one of those things I don't know. It was one. They try to make it feel intimate and warm and personal. And I think it actually on some level did the opposite. Cause you're like, it's like this like canned familiarity. Like there was a smoother way where you could have literally just said, "Hey, I'm Harlan. What's your name?" And like, or just said, "Hi, I'm Harlan." And the person, if they're not a complete mutant, would have probably said, done the usual greeting dance, and it would have worked just as well. I think it was kind of unnecessary, but I mean, it was memorable at least since it's so weird.
So yeah, it was interesting. So it's all in all, I thought it went well. We put up on social media, we put up our meta videos of the encounter. Were you concerned about having your meta glasses be spotted or no?
Well, I pulled my my trusty cotton condom over the flashing light, so if they wouldn't think I was recording, they would just think I was out of my mind, which I guess is preferable.
Yeah, I mean, I walked up with full light blaring. I raw dogged it, I guess. And
that might be a T-shirt right there. A meta glass with the light going. Yeah. Jeez.
So, I mean, our videos speak for themselves, I guess. It was pretty straightforward. The ops came out good. A little more. I mean, did you realize Harlan Corbin was a massive dude? That he occupies a lot of space. He had to be cropped out from the op, but it was done.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I probably should have not really put my arm around him. It would have made for a cleaner crop, but whatever. It worked out. And for the, it's funny, all the true, like, freaks of the world that really care about things like this, like Greg, 2600, and Class 316, it seems like the people with the numbers at the end of their names really, really care about, like, photo quality. But in any case, they would have been thrilled with the fact that it was a Google Drive with nothing being I mean, I guess they could have degraded it on the post-processing, but probably not. I didn't check the file size, but I mean, Google Drive is one of the safer ways to transfer things without any sort of a loss in quality. So that was, I suppose, good. A lot of these meet and greets, upload them to different things that definitely reduce the file size a bit.
Yeah, so I mean, all's well that ends well. We had good. The result was good. It actually took a couple days. It took longer than I thought for the ops to come in the email. I think it was 2 full days later, maybe 3. But all's well that ends well. We got exactly what we paid for. I went online to see if there was any value in selling that book. There is not. I mean, they're selling below retail. So,
and I can attest, he did this while running up the street to Penn Station after the event. So he did this while moving. So
yeah, I wanted to make sure.
You were in a rush to move that book.
I would look at the gold standard for me was when we did the Bruce Springsteen book signing, where I listed and sold my Bruce Springsteen book while in line to meet Bruce Springsteen, which more than double paid for the entire thing.
Yeah.
I think, all in, what do we pay for that? 30, 40, 50 bucks, something like that?
Yeah.
For Bruce?
I mean, hell, I pre-sold, I scalped the ticket, the meet and greet ticket to the NYC one, where some business guy from Manhattan, I convinced him to, he Zelled me or he did something without recourse. I was afraid of getting ripped off. And I guess he wasn't afraid of getting ripped off, and he sent it in the most unsafe way ever. And then I sent him his pass, and all's well that ended well. But that was a beautiful thing.
Oh my God! So that one was fantastic because we got there, paid maybe it was like $50 for the book, something in that ballpark. But it was in Jersey, so there was some travel costs attached to it. Lost a day. But from the line, I sold the signed book. But the good thing was they gave us the books first, and then we had to wait in line with them before we met Bruce to get the pick. And I took a picture from the line, listed on eBay. I sold it for $500 eBay, so minus fees. But still, before I even got to Bruce, I already was well in the black on the day. So
yeah, and that's one of the things. And then we'll move on from Bruce. But that's one of those events where, at the time, every single person in this hobby did it for the most part. And that was the time. If you wanted Bruce, whether you were a fan or you just wanted it for historical significance, that was the time to do it. And it's funny, if you look at the average collectors now, people on the street, people in the Facebook groups, I would say more don't have that than do, because I think that's the turnover rate in this hobby. Not everyone has that photo, because a lot of the people we see today were not even doing this at that point. It's crazy how time flies and that kind of cycles in and out.
Definitely. It's weird. But at the time, it was literally everyone we knew had that op. And then now I think Reese will be the same way, right?
Yeah.
So lots of people were there, and it'll turn over. And I question, at what point I'll be continuing to pursue these things, but we'll see. We actually forgot last week because after a show like New York Comic Con, I know that it's hard to, and it sounds almost ridiculous, but it's hard to really express unless you do it. How much a show like New York Comic Con kicks your ass. Just the amount of time spent out of the house, running around, taking public transportation. These are incredibly long days. And so this is just a precursor to the excuse where we actually forgot certain stories from New York Comic Con last week. And what's funny is they were actually written on our show outline and somehow we still forgot them. So I'm going to blame Dana for that, even though it's both of our faults.
It was my story, so I definitely blame myself. It was honestly my favorite story I had from the entire damn weekend. I was pissed when I remembered that I didn't do it.
But when you're looking, you're so bleary-eyed, and you think, especially looking that we had that other, we had the Reese Witherspoon event on Monday evening, we just missed it. So there was something, I'm not going to say funny, but kind of funny about. I guess you went to a booth. Now, this was a vendor booth that was hosting Jim Cummings, Jim Cummings, who was the voice of a whole bunch of Disney cartoons. And the booth is Disparity, which I'm going to lie, I had never heard of before. But they had a few guests up there. They had like Roger Jackson from Scream. And he was the big one. And also Jim Cummings and a couple others. But what happened? Do you explain it? Because I wasn't there.
Well, I was there. I was there as a +1. Brian from Golden Ring Collectibles, who was my running mate for that day, he needed Jim Cummings on a couple of things. He had never gotten him before. I spent far too much on Jim Cummings the first time, and honestly, I kind of refused to even look over what I have to see if I need anything extra, because I don't want to spend any more. So I was a +1. We were there. Jim Cummings was on some sort of a meal break, whatever type of break these people at booths take that don't really want to make any money. Because, I mean, you could eat. I go back to this all the time, but Tom Seaver was scarfing down those chicken tenders, greasy fingers, signing items. He didn't care. He was not getting away from that booth. He was doing what he had to do. But so we're at the booth. We're waiting. He was due back at 5 o'clock. So we're waiting. And then the guy that runs the booth starts sort of checking people in. So again, I had no horse in this race. I'm standing there. And he comes up and he says to the people in line, how are you, what do you have to get signed? They were selling all these like lithographs and like reprints of like art pieces of Winnie the Pooh and the different Disney properties. Mind you, there were absolutely no Disney branding, copyright, logos, anything on this. So, I mean, that can kind of tell you all you need to know with these art prints. And essentially, if you had your own item and you were not going to be purchasing or taking one of theirs, which there was no taking, each print had a cost. You would have to pay this guy a $15 per item booth fee. So there was a booth fee that he collected. And Brian just wanted his stuff done. So he was kind of just going along with it. He's like, okay, whatever. Hands the guy the $30. At this point, I couldn't stay completely quiet. So I say to the guy, I'm like, so this $30, it's nothing towards the 2 autographs. Like, this isn't like money going towards the autograph. He goes, no, you settle all, autograph and photo op, you settle with Jim's wife. And I imagine like Roger had his own person, whoever they had. You pay them. The booth fee was just simply for not buying one of their prints. They have to make money somehow to pay for their expensive booth. At that point, I was honestly pretty mad, considering it had nothing to do with me. That's how I sort of calmed myself down. I'm like, am I going to tear this guy to shreds for a booth fee I'm not paying? And then he like kicks us off the line in theory. I like, forget it. I'll just let it rock. I'll tear into him on the podcast. Brian wanted to get Jim Cummings. I would like to say if I didn't have Jim Cummings, I would have said, screw you and your booth fee, I'm leaving. But, I mean, I don't know. Because, I mean, Jim Cummings isn't getting any younger. And then while we're waiting at the table, Cummings' wife approaches. That I mean, who the hell knows what Jim Cummings' wife looks like? I'm not even sure if Jim Cummings knows what his wife looks like at this point. And there's no Jim Cummings, which is kind of weird. And then she whispers to the booth guy and then announces to the crowd that Jim Cummings had a fall coming back from an interview he was doing with Variety, and his knee was swollen, and he was somewhere in the back, awaiting some sort of evaluation. And at that point, basically, the line disbanded. I think the wife was like, "Oh, if you want to come up at 7:00 for the 6:30, whatever time it was for the panel, he'll take your money then and sign your stuff." But we were out the door. The guy said to Brian, like, "Oh, just leave your booth fee with me. I'll remember you tomorrow." And I looked at Brian. I'm like, "You better get that money, dude. Like, if you're going to even trust that this guy's going to remember you." And Brian got his 30 back and we left. And I still, it's honestly, the carny in me kind of loves it. Like, that's wild that you're charging people for not buying one of your prints. Like, it's crazy. But that's just absurd. And I hope they took a savage beating on that table. I hope they lost a lot, because that is a lousy thing to do. That is, God forbid that becomes some sort of a norm at booths, that they sell merchandise and then charge you a fee if you don't buy it. Like, that's crazy.
Right. I mean, the whole thing is wild, right? So, okay, just so people understand the economics of this. If New York Comic Con is bringing Jim Cummings in themselves, then they'll give him a spot to sell his wares, and that's it. New York Comic Con didn't want to bring Jim in. So a vendor brought him in. Now, frankly, there needs to be some incentive for the vendor to bring in a talent, or else why would they do it? Because these booths at New York Comic Con are thousands of dollars for the weekend. There has to be some reason to bring the vendor in. So I guess this vendor figured, simply by virtue of Jim Cummings being near his junk, that people would want to buy it. Which, I mean, I guess that's a gambit one might be willing to take if one were dumb. But or maybe there is some like value to having Jim Cummings be near your stuff, and then you would like want to buy it. But the move really should have been is, hey Jim, I'm giving you a spot to sell your stuff. Cut me in on a % of it. I mean, otherwise, what benefit does this vendor get out of having Jim at his table? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I would like to think that the vendor had a percentage from Jim, and he just figured, hey, let's shake a couple extra nickels out of the fans.
I don't think so.
I'm saying he seemed a bit like a simpleton. Honestly, the art looked kind of cool. There were a couple prints that I'm like, ooh, that would look good with that color. And then I wasn't even close to tempted to do it, but it looked kind of cool. But like in this AI era, I mean, there's definitely prompts that you could get completely around the copyright issues, and you could make these like with just typing something in. So I don't even know if there's any actual skill or any artistic ability involved in this. This might just be some moron that made AI prints that is now trying to, because he wasn't smart enough to make the deal, fair on the talent level. So he's going to try to make his money back on this, which is ridiculous. So
long story short, the booth fee, is this something that we're going to see, you think, more in the future, or you think this is a one-time deal that just probably went south for this vendor?
I'll be honest, the crowd I saw that night, I can't imagine it would have been much better anywhere, because, I mean, Jim Cummings isn't setting the world on fire anywhere, because his prices are pretty high. New York Comic Con, I mean, you're talking a multi-day thing. I don't know how much worse he did as a result of this. I think a lot of people kind of just said, whatever, I'll do it. So that's actually kind of scary. And if anything, I'm doing a disservice by bringing this up, because now I'm sort of teaching other people the booth fee concept.
Putting it out in the universe.
Yeah. So I apologize in the future if this becomes a thing. But yeah, I certainly hope it doesn't become a thing. It won't be a thing at the marked out collectibles booth, I'll tell you that much.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. And that's so I actually, while you were talking, I don't know if you saw, I added another bullet to our agenda, because yes, we did navigate NYCC a lot with the meta glasses, and I was just wondering what your thoughts were on how that was, and I mean, you and I we discussed a little bit. A lot of people were using meta glasses at NYC to NYCC for content purposes, and I see a lot of like content out there now that was filmed using meta glasses at these cons.
Yeah, there was a little bit of pushback on the photo ops. Definitely a little bit of pushback with that. Autograph wise, I only got one, but I mean, you didn't seem to have any issue. I didn't have any issue. It seems like on the autograph table level, I think also the autograph table is a little more of a, there's a lot of moving parts. I think they're probably less likely to see it. You have people in the photo op booth that literally they're standing there just checking you in, and like, you know, they can look for a blinking light. It's a little less pressure, I guess, to not be able to handle that. But, you know, I use it when I can. I like the content we get. It seems like our followers seem to be enjoying what we get. So I'm feeling better about buying these glasses. I really didn't need otherwise.
Do you feel like their ubiquity will somehow lead to like, oh, we're going to be charging people to use meta glasses at the table? Do you think we're approaching that as a danger zone kind of area? I saw I mean, go on TikTok, the number of videos that are on there from NYCC that were clearly taken with meta, or just, I mean, I don't know. I was like looking at people in line. It seemed like 1 out of every 10 people or 8 people were wearing these things.
I don't know if it's going to get to that point. 'Cause I mean, I think before you'd get to that point, you would have had people charging for proof shots, which I still kind of wonder why they don't. All these celebrities that say don't take pictures while they're signing, you could charge $10 each. And it would be such a small fee, almost like a top loader cost. I think if that hasn't happened yet, I don't think this will happen. If anything, I think they may crack down a little bit more. But ultimately, like, what are they going to tell you? Take your glasses off. Like, if they don't see the light, like with my like little cover over the light, I mean, what can they really do? They're going to make you take your glasses off, and then you're blind and you can't see and you're stumbling around. Like, it's kind of hard if you're a lunatic with a condom on their glasses, like me. I mean, it's a little difficult to really do much. I suppose maybe in the pro op room they could like force glasses to come off. Maybe, I don't even know. But I don't think we're getting there yet. But I think before that we'd have to see people charging for proof shots.
All right, yeah. So I did enjoy. I did enjoy using my glasses. That was like the first time I really used them out.
I'm saying you christened them.
I did. I got a lot of video, a lot of pictures too. Of that show, and then I used them again at Reese Witherspoon. So, you know, content, as we like to say. So we did get some reports this week. It was a little bit of a slower week, which is natural coming off New York Comic Con. Again, Martine. I guess it was a slow week up in New York. It was definitely not a slow week down in Chile, as Martine basically spent all week getting musicians like crazy. So he managed, and musicians are a different breed, I think, for than most other sort of areas of collecting, in the sense that most of these bands just don't get a lot of people going for them. And so a lot of these bands that you find are just super accommodating and want to talk to you, you know, and I've had that experience with bands and stuff in the past too. But he got, and I know you're not going to know most of these names, but yeah, there's a few of them I think you'll know from the list. But he met legendary punk band The Addicts, and also the hardcore band The Cro-Mags. He met thrash metal band Exodus, and then some DJs, Deadmau5, Armin van Buuren, and David Guetta. I mean,
shockingly, I know the DJs. Well,
yeah,
not Guetta. David is big, but I mean, I know
huge.
They're all.
And everyone knows Deadmau5 too.
DJs, yeah. I know. I think I know the Addicts. Other than that, no.
Then also the band Death Before Dishonor. He did strike out with Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses is that kind of band that even when traveling around the world, they're still heavily secured and do not let fans near them. It's very hard to get near anyone from Guns N' Roses. And then on the last day of the trip, he met Lagwagon and Cigar. I mean, Lagwagon is a punk band from the early 90s also that has been around forever. So, yeah, just a ton of names, a ton of bands, great pictures. And I think he got a bunch of like show invites from these meets as well, which is not uncommon. If you find bands out and about and you talk to them, you wind up getting put on a list to get into the show for free. So that's a thing, in case you're wondering. So awesome haul from Martine. And I love getting music shots, especially from bands. We just don't have that many people on the group who post them. And so it's cool to see them, because that is an area of my collecting as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then in other news, Little Rat, Zach Linder was very, very, very busy. He got a lot of returns. Of the returns, I think the most interesting thing was it created a new, not really a debate, because I mean, we've all had it ad nauseum at many different groups, but the whole like Posca versus other pen debate. And he had one print come back with a little bit of scratches on it from the Back to the Future. The Tom Wilson signature was a little scratched up from the Posca's this delicate nature. And he also, if you remember back, he did the Vladimir Guerrero, and whoever he mailed it into didn't follow directions and got it signed in like a dead Sharpie, and it didn't look great. So he wiped it, and now it looks amazing in Posca. So then he did a little side-by-side comparison, and people are sounding off about, is it worth the extra level of sort of paranoia you have with a Posca thing to have it look better? Because it does unquestionably look better. It's always the richest, sharpest color. But so if you want to sound off on that, join the marked out autograph collecting community and let your voice be heard. And then as far as in-person stuff, he went to the Dolph Lundgren vodka signing in Westbury, Long Island. And I was tempted to go to this, but the issue was I would have, although honestly, he got there so late and it was still fine. I actually probably could have done it. I just didn't want to have to leave work early after the Comic-Con week. I figured, let me just not deal with that. Did you have any temptation?
I didn't know about it. So you said you sent it to me. I must have missed it. Work is weird in the sense that they, even when I'm connected to the Wi-Fi at work, they do like selective filtering. And so like I'll get texts that are filtered out. And I guess when you sent me like pictures, when you send me certain links, they get filtered out. I don't get them until I leave and jump off the Wi-Fi. So I just missed it. And I didn't know. I probably would have gone, I think. But whatever, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I immediately regretted it. He said when he got there, he was like 15 minutes after start time, which would have been like 4:15, 4:20. And there were like 35 people there. So it's like, shit, I really should have printed something. I should have grabbed like a boxing glove. I should have done something. But then my logic was, am I going to then send something into Sly? Like, I'm going to just have a Rocky piece signed by him. It creates a lot of things. I don't want to have to, a lot of urges I don't want to have to face.
Yeah, I know. But a bottle of vodka you could always gift, right? Or get rid of somehow, and Dolph is his price is increasing at cons, and also he's not really that around as much as he used to be. He's kind of rare. Maybe he comes around the East Coast once every other year or so. So it was a good shot. I would have got him just again because it's going to sound dumb, but I got a pro photo up with him, and I was wearing just this ridiculous sweatshirt that I wish I wasn't wearing. So I would have gotten another one, but oh well. This is a story that I saw after the fact that you said you're jealous about. I guess Vince McMahon had a court date related to his reckless driving charge from getting into that accident a few months ago. And a bunch of graphers found out where it was and met him at the courthouse. And it turns out he took pictures and signed. He took pictures with everyone and signed for everyone.
Yeah. I heard about it firsthand through Auction Andrew. He sent me some pictures. I think he ended up posting them all finally on his page. It seemed like it was a lot of the original promo collectors that kind of dropped in on Vinnie Mac, and I'm extremely jealous. It was foolish on my part. I should have been thinking about this whole reckless driving thing, how there would have been a court date to come. I didn't even make any effort to figure that out. I'll be honest, I didn't really think he would be that accessible because he was in the city at the birthday party. Like, no one was getting near him. So, I mean, it could have been like that. It's actually a little bit surprising. I guess with all the law enforcement presence at a place like a courthouse, I guess his security kind of lays a little bit low in terms of being, super aggressive about not letting anyone near him. And Vince was always great when he was on the road. People would get him at like weird times, like late night, early morning, after going to a gym. That was like a popular time. But he was usually, the general rule of thumb on Vince was if you saw him, you got him. And this was a nice little throwback to that. He looked a little weird. I mean, he had a little bit of a Pepe Le Pew look going on there with that hair, which I saw people posting that all around.
Vince has had gray hair for years. years he's had gray hair. He had stopped dyeing it for a long time. And instead, he dyed it so it's like black with a silver stripe down the middle. I mean, here's the thing: if there was any doubt, like anyone who follows Vince and knows Vince for a long time, or read the court evidence with Vince's text messages in there, you know that Vince has completely lost his mind. Or whether he ever had a mind is debatable, but he's clearly out of his mind. Anyone who hasn't read any of his, maybe you've been in an ice, a block of ice for the past year or so, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, but seeing these pictures of Vince should leave no doubt whatsoever that he's completely insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a typical hairstyle. Unless he was going into court trying to play up the insanity defense, which I don't believe he was. I don't know why you would choose this for your court date, but he did, and it seems like everything went well for him. I guess all the original promos he signed outside must have brought him luck. It seemed like he rejected photos going in. He signed and then sort of said no and went in, and I guess he came out. I'm assuming, I don't even know how many photos he did. I saw Andrew got it, obviously. Andrew's photo went like absurdly viral. In hindsight, I should have asked him to post it on our group before he posted it to his personal page, because then we would have gotten all those share outs, but I didn't even think about it. Like Chris Van Vliet picked it up. Like his photo was absolutely all over the place. I didn't see anyone else's, so I don't know if they didn't ask or he only did the one and he sort of ran off. I don't know. I'm assuming the way he looks so happy and comfortable with Andrew, he would have done others. But yeah, that's probably, unless Vince does something else stupid, which, I mean, is possible, that might be one of the last real tangible opportunities for him. So, I mean, great job, Andrew. Another cherry on top of just me not getting Vince all these years. I could have gotten Vince. So I guess that kind of keeps the tradition alive.
So, I mean, the pictures look good. The autographs look good. But, I mean, I shouldn't say the pictures look good. It looks like Vince's he looks like a complete lunatic. But it's still Vince, and there's only one of them. And for how much longer? I mean, how much longer can a person's life be fueled by nothing but cocaine and illicit sex?
One of Shane's kids is like the doppelganger of Vince. So whether he acts like Vince is another story, but I mean, this kid looks just like Vince. So there may be another Vince coming down the pike.
Well, I guess we'll see. Also rocking with Dan, got Goldberg in Florida. Bunch of items, bunch of vintage VHS tapes. You know, Goldberg kind of looks the same as he always has. It's sort of weird.
It's the bald-headed syndrome. Think about it. Austin's the exact same way. Goldberg's the exact same way. Michael Chiklis really didn't look any different. It really helps when you don't see the hairline going back. You don't see the grays creeping in. You kind of like, when you really focus on any of these guys' faces, the wrinkles have grown. You see a difference, but I mean, it's really the best camouflage for aging.
So there you go. Good job rocking with Dan. It was pretty cool. Wicked Ink Wednesday, continues to grow. We got a lot of posts, and did you post one? Because I didn't.
I did. I don't remember what I posted, but I posted something, I think.
These weekday afternoons, the problem is if I don't get home till late, I forget.
Stop putting work over combos, man. Come on.
Yeah, there's a couple of pretty cool ones I saw this week. Ashley, who I don't think, she posted the full signed Funko set from Lost, all of them signed. Did you see that?
I did, and it got me. I have a lot of these guys. I obviously still need what the hell's his name? Matthew Fox. How has there not been a full Lost reunion at the cons? What is Matthew Fox doing? What is Terry O'Quinn doing? It's ridiculous. This show was huge for a while.
Massive.
Yeah. It's literally right up the alley of cons. It's addictive, episodic, science fiction based. It jumped the shark by the end. It's got everything, any big property at these cons desire.
I think a lot of these guys made too much money.
I guess that's what it is. That's what it is, and that's what we've talked about with wrestling conventions. This is the future of wrestling conventions, where we're going to say in 20 years, where are all these wrestlers? Well, they made too much money. That's what it is. But it's frustrating. I need Matthew Fox. That guy doesn't do a damn thing. And yeah, I was extremely envious of that. And I hope one day we see a Lost reunion.
It was really an insane set. It was super cool. Another super cool item was James Sigmund. I don't know him either. He posted this insane Simpsons Spinal Tap poster that had Michael McKean, Christopher Guest, Harry Shearer, and of course Dan Castellaneta, the voice of Homer Simpson, on there. But Christopher Guest is nigh impossible to get. That was an insane. It's an insane thing. What a cool item! Did you check it out?
I did, and I absolutely love that. Like, people posting stuff that I have no clue who they are. We've said about Marked Out how it was always like this sort of like extended family, like high school reunion type of thing. And I love that about it. But I also love now that, like, in addition to all that, we get these people from literally all over the world just dropping in, blessing us with like fire. Like, just,
yeah.
Who the hell is that? I don't know. But they got something really cool. And, they're sharing it with the community. And that's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then Andrew came in with this. I just thought I popped for it because I'd never seen it before. The chocolate strawberry vinyl. Did you know that existed?
I didn't.
So Darryl Strawberry apparently had some kind of album in the 80s, and he got it signed. It was just one of those things that I thought was pretty cool. So
yeah,
awesome stuff for Wicked Ink Wednesday. I loved it tremendously. Huge con news, kind of earth-shattering con news. You posted it, I think, so I guess talk about it.
I think I didn't post it. I wanted to post it, and the reach and strength of our group, I think 2 people actually beat me to it. But Johnny Depp is doing Tokyo Comic-Con. And what I did this morning, guys, to show the level of effort I make to be an informed host, I converted all of the Japanese from the Johnny Depp announcements into English. I used AI, of course. I mean, I didn't do that much work, but I still did it. He is doing a panel. He is also doing 2 days of autographs and photo ops. So pricing is not announced yet. Tickets for him are not on sale. Hopefully by next week, we will have some more information. I know people are very interested in what his price would be. And I want to just make this clear. Carl Urban, his prices were announced. So I did a US dollar conversion rate. And it boils down to a $164 autograph and a $164 photo op. I don't exactly remember the exact number I paid at New York Comic Con because I bought them months ago. But, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was around like 100 each, something like that.
Maybe between 1 and 120, yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking at, with the conversion rate, or maybe just to show, I would have to look at what the current conversion rate is. I don't know it. I don't know if it's a bad conversion rate or just the con itself that they charge more over there. I don't know. But whatever Johnny Depp's price is when converted, it could, I suppose, be lower if and when he does U.S. cons. And listen, we're not quite at bold prediction season, but my head is already spinning about what I would do if Johnny does a convention in my wheelhouse. I would not board a plane for Johnny since I got the photo op at the Hollywood Vampires show. But depending on price, I don't know. I think I would get a new photo op because I think I like him that much where that would be normal, which, I mean, it would be the furthest thing from normal, but I'll convince myself it is. And I would absolutely be intrigued by autographs, but again, depending on the price. I'm not going to drop $3,000 on Johnny Depp. I got to see what the cost is, where he's at, if he even does anything beyond this. What's your reaction to Johnny?
I know some of these overseas cons will throw big money, and that's how they get unusual guests. That's very well what this could be. But, I mean, Johnny notoriously kind of needs the money, and it would not surprise me at all if he did something here. I think it's just a matter of getting the exact circumstances lined up correctly for what that would look like.
Would you get on a plane for him?
No. There's almost no one I'm getting on a plane for in 2025. I mean, I don't even like. I mean, what do I like of Johnny Depp's What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I liked Nightmare on Elm Street. I liked, but I don't like Pirates of the Caribbean. I think Pirates of the Caribbean movies are awful. I hate them. It's not like I watched. What else was he? 21 Jump Street. The original show. I don't
with Scissorhands. You didn't like all the Burton stuff.
No, not really. So yeah, I wouldn't get on a plane for Depp. There are very few people who I'd get on a plane for. Arnold was one, and then now we're done with him. So I mean, would I travel to when I go to Pittsburgh? Yeah, sure. You know, you go to Pittsburgh for Depp, right?
Yeah. Oh well, Pittsburgh actually is probably the worst. That would suck the most because you can't. You would have to buy like a VIP. I mean, if you were just GA trying to get through that autograph line, I mean, that would actually be pretty rough.
Yeah, but if you'd fly, then that's what it would cost anyway.
I'm saying, so I'd have to get a VIP. If I didn't get a VIP, if it sold out too fast, I mean, that would probably be the worst case scenario. NYCC, RICC, these would be things that would appeal to me more just in terms of how I could navigate it. But yeah, I mean, it depends. If you're talking $800-900 per autograph, I probably get one. If you're talking $400 or $500 per autograph, I probably get two. So we got to see. And I can say right now, he will probably factor into my bold predictions when we get to that part of the calendar. I'm not sure yet where or what, but I'm chewing on it.
There's a very good possibility, but by the time we get to December, there very well could be an announcement on him. Depending on what show is in his future. If because you know what it is with these guys. Once the dam is broken, the dam is broken. Once the floodgates are open, they're open. That's how it goes. So it's either gonna happen or it's not. So we'll see with him.
Maybe Johnny at Fanatics.
It's an option, sure. That's an interesting possibility, actually. In other con news, Fan Expo Philly added a Hobbit reunion. And actually, the Fan Expo is kind of across the board. That's their gimmick for this month. For this year, sorry, is going to be a Hobbit reunion. They have the 4 Hobbits. These guys have been around a ton, but I don't think they've been around too frequently all together. And I don't know if we've had all 4. It's hard to find a film franchise that's as transformative as Lord of the Rings. I mean, as far as being spanning over a decade, being incredibly influential, making an absolute ton of money. I have all these guys. That's not true. I don't have the lesser 2 Hobbits because I actually hate them in the movies. But I do. But if I was at a show with all 4, I would get the group op, even though I have a group op with Elijah Wood and Sean Astin.
Yeah. I, of course, my care really revolves around Philadelphia. So I immediately, when I saw this news, I went on and checked out the New Orleans Fan Expo, which is a couple months. And this is late May. That is early January. And they have the same Hobbit reunion. They have a TNMT, live action 1990 film. They got the April. They got the Turtles. They have Shredder. That I imagine that's going to be at a lot of these fan expos around the country because it's the 30. They just had the theatrical run for the 35th anniversary. It fits, and they had some Reno 911 people. There really wasn't a hell of a lot. Mike Coulter. It seems like the Marvel Defenders are going everywhere right now. So if that is any sort of an omen for what Philadelphia is going to give, I don't really think, me personally, I'm going to have a ton of interest. But with a certain somebody in Tokyo, I mean, do I think he ends up at a fan expo? Not necessarily, but they were definitely throwing around some big names last year in Fan Expo Philly. Wouldn't shock me. I would do a Philly trip for an autograph of Depp. That would be in my range. So yeah, I mean, it's on my radar, but I'm not really. It's a lot of stuff that they're doing that doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess. So, I date wise on Fan Expo, we've already discussed off air that May date is a little bit tricky for me, or will be a little bit tricky for me, probably. So I'm probably just not going to be able to go. So if they add a Depp to something like Fan Expo, that would certainly frustrate me, I guess you'd say. But we'll see. I mean, it's still months away, and we'll see what they do. Fan Expos are weird. There are some fan expos that throw up insane lineups, and there are some fan expos where you're like, nothing here, or just retreads of everything that everyone else has done that year. So
yeah, Philly used to be sort of their weak place. Then this time around, they dropped. You had Cena, you had Mel, you had all these like massive things. I don't know. I mean, the crowd wasn't great. So, I mean, if they learned from their last mistake, they probably would go a little lighter in Philly this time around. But who knows?
Well, same. In other con news, it's kind of a quiet week as far as announcements and cancellations. But for the fact that Chill Out Con quietly canceled Brad Garrett, was done a little bit unusually. They, when he was announced, it was to big fanfare, but it was, people had been speculating because his picture started disappearing from things on the website. A lot of our listeners are very eagle-eyed with that kind of stuff, and so they started, posting and replying to posts. Where's Brad Garrett? Where's Brad Garrett? What's his status? And then Chill Out Con sort of just quietly replied to a post. They didn't even make an announcement that Brad Garrett is canceled. So, I don't really have anything more to say about it, but he was kind of a big name for that show.
Yeah, there were a lot of people, like you said, that were seeing that he was removed from the poster image and different things. I texted Tom yesterday because I told him that we're recording and I want to be as accurate as possible. This was like hours before the comment, and he said that they were still hoping to have him. And I can't get into any details, but there was some sort of a little whatever. There was something that came from Salt Lake City that they were working on, and that's all he told me. And then I saw like hours later that comment where they said he was canceled, and they basically replaced him with Danica. So since they commented that publicly, I'm assuming that supersedes what he told me in the morning. I was talking to him a little bit in the evening about something else, and he hadn't mentioned anything about Brad Garrett, and I didn't ask him again since they commented publicly. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit of a different way of canceling. I always prefer the more vocal and public cancellation, so people are just aware. But I mean, I guess if the picture's off the poster and the website, sometimes actions speak louder than words, and we should take that to mean more than, we sometimes do.
Yeah, I mean, the part that does it for me is that, Danica was announced before the Brad cancellation. So to say that Danica is a replacement for Brad just doesn't add up timeline-wise. And that's, I think, I don't know if internally he knew that Brad was likely not, I don't know what the deal, I really don't know, but
from what he told me, this thing has been building for a little while, and they've been, they were working behind the scenes, I guess, trying to make it work. I can't say more than that. So I guess that could have worked out, but I mean, who the hell knows? I can't keep track of public timelines of most of these cons. I definitely can't speculate to the internal inner workings.
So, but it gives this show a little bit of a hit for me. Brad was a draw for me, and Brad was a draw for a lot of people. A lot of people had asked about him, so it definitely puts a little bit of a damper on my excitement for it. I'm just going to be very honest. I mean, obviously, there's still a lot of other guests at that show, but anytime a headliner cancels very close to the deadline or very close to day of, that's frustrating.
Yeah. I kind of had your same reaction where I'm like, oh crap, that sucks. And I looked over the lineup, and what I try to do more so now as with Marked Out Radio, I want to sort of bring, I don't just try to sit on here and talk about what I want, because I mean, I don't think anyone really cares what I want. And when you look at it through objective eyes, I mean, this is not a convention center con. This is a hotel con, which those are typically two very different things. And I mean, it's still stacked. It is a stacked lineup with or without Brad Garrett. It's just a lot of the upper tier people for me I already have. I don't need Shatner. I don't need some of these people. So Brad Garrett was like the one of the fresh and cool names that I really was excited about. And for me, it's more frustrating that it's not like, oh, Brad Garrett stubbed his toe and can't make it. It sounds like we may not be seeing Brad Garrett doing other shows in the future. So I hope things can be resolved and that, he can make it. It would be sort of disappointing if he only does Salt Lake City and that's it.
Especially because he's a fresh name.
Yeah, with a lot of credits, a lot of cool credits.
Look, Danica, Bracco, Shatner, even Simmons, those are big names. Garrett's a fresh name. And for us, that there's a difference. There's no other way to say. For me, there's a difference. For big names, fine. Fresh,
Let's be fair, though. Alec Baldwin, I think, is fresh for a lot of people in these parts. He did Philly. He did Oaks, Monster Mania. Not a hell of a lot more. He did nothing else in the Northeast. He canceled Rhode Island, and he hasn't done it before. Never did NYCC. Never did Chiller. So, I mean, I think Baldwin's pretty fresh, but I mean, for a lot of the lunatics like us, we have him.
Well, I don't.
Oh. No, yes, you do. You were at Oaks. You didn't get him?
I didn't get him. Nope.
Yes, you did. You got the photo and talked to him about the Hampton, about the whole thing with the Hamptons.
That didn't happen. I didn't get him I did not get him at Oaks.
I'm gonna check. I mean, I'm sure you would remember what you did, but my mind is blown. I remember this like this is like that whole. This is like people thinking Sinbad made the Kazam movie. Like I really remember this whole thing happening. You told me what you talked to him about. I remember all of this. Who else would I have talked to?
I got Terrifier at Oaks. That's it.
What the hell were you doing? I mean, obviously you were
waiting in line for Terrifier. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, you didn't get him. What the hell am I imagining?
I don't know. You concocted this whole story. It didn't happen.
Well, it was so. What the hell's wrong with you? Why didn't you get the pro op?
I don't know.
Wow. So now you got to do Chill Out. You need Baldwin.
Do I need? What does need mean? Need.
You need it to survive. You cannot live without Baldwin.
So one of the funny things that ends up happening is once I pass on someone, it actually makes it harder for me to get them in the future.
Listen, we can go out to that tree he crashed into. We can cut a piece of the wood out of it and get it signed. It's accident used. I'm not going to lie. That was a complete joke. That actually sounds kind of cool now that I said it out loud. I'm actually tempted. Make him sign a branch.
Don't you find it funny that 2 of the Chill Out headliners got into accidents this week?
I think Chiller might be trying to cause car accidents. You heard it here first, guys.
Oh boy! And then we also
edit this one out.
No, it's so absurd.
I won't do that again.
And then finally, our photo with Friday. Some other insane photos. 16 times Mark Miller again, home run with a Boy George shot from the 90s, back when Boy George looked like Boy George. Again, crazy stuff. And then Alex posted Spaceman Ace Frehley, who passed away this week. So it's kind of become a thing that when someone dies, people post photos with them. And, this is another one like that. Ace had been around to a lot of cons. I know that he caused a lot of turmoil at Chiller, where he took up a lot of space and people waited a long time to get in that room. But, it's sort of part of being a member of KISS, I guess. Those guys will have their own mystique and their aura about them, and he's no different. And then,
it kind of makes you wonder when, all the talk we've had about combo gods and like getting into heaven, it makes you think, Ace Frehley now, as he moves past the pearly gates, gets checked in with the combo gods. I wonder how many items Ray dropped on him up there. Ray had to have a stack of KISS stuff just waiting and, up past the pearly gates for any of the KISS members to come his way.
I think Ace was a big draw for Chiller.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. Oh, that's it. So if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, no reason, good reason, bad reason, whatever, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com, or of course, as more and more people are doing every day, join and post on the Marked Out autograph collecting community on Facebook. All links are in the show notes on Facebook and Substack. And if you want your event, product, or brand advertised on episodes of Marked Out Radio, reach out to us today at markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com. Please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts, and leave a rating and or review. You can leave a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. You can leave a rating on Spotify. You can leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, or a comment on YouTube. So back to the main topic. Listener questions. So we actually got some emails with questions, so take it away.
All right, from Sean Searat. He asked, what piece are you most envious of in the Others collection? And this is kind of an interesting question. First of all, I think it's awesome. But second of all, as most people do, you and I collect, I think, in very, very different ways. If I listed my top 50 items in my collection that I care about the most, you would probably be unbothered about 95% of them.
That's probably true. We
and
really
vice versa.
We don't really collect the same things.
No. You would not be intrigued by my 67 Tito Santana autographs. You don't have any care for a Survivor Series 91 11x17. Like, none of that matters really to you. So, I'll take the first crack at answering the question, and I'm sure there's other stuff in your collection that I'm overlooking that I would probably also be envious of. But I think I would have to say that WrestleMania 1 inscribed, dual signed with Hulk and Mr. T. As a fan, I was never crazy about WrestleMania 1. When I would rent the WrestleManias at Blockbuster for the millionth time each, this was probably one I kept in the thousands. It was never that enjoyable, like years later, to me. But I mean, talk about, it's probably the most iconic poster image in wrestling. It is. People do that whole like WrestleMania project where they have everyone signing a WrestleMania 1 poster, whether they were at that WrestleMania or not, just as like
invalid.
I agree. I mean, I've done some things.
Is that invalid or incorrect under Steve's taxonomy?
Believe invalid because they were not at WrestleMania 1.
Then what does incorrect mean?
I don't know. And incorrect means his car is falling apart and he has no money to fix it. That's
we need to get, honestly, we at some point need to get Steve on to just ask him to explain these things. I would be laughing so hard I'd be crying. So I need that to happen.
All right, we'll make it happen. But yes, I think it's probably that. How about you?
I really like. Okay, so I used to collect. I don't really collect anymore, but I used to collect like coffee table books and get all of them signed. So I have like a Law and Order coffee table book with a bunch of the Law and Order actors in it. I have an Oz coffee table book with a lot of the Oz actors. And so you have that Sopranos coffee table book with Gandolfini and a bunch of the Sopranos actors. Now, if I'm being honest, you did let that item fall off a little bit and you haven't gotten the new people. You didn't go for Jackie Jr. or anything. I've noticed.
I didn't get. What happened with that was Paulie when they wouldn't let the extra items be signed at that bottle signing with Tony Sirico.
It just broke your heart
a little bit, but I think I might bring it to chill out for Bracco. I might, and then I have to try to catch Falco somewhere again, which that's no easy feat.
No, she's a pain in the neck.
Yeah,
she's another one. I mean, she works a lot, but she should be brought somewhere. I think she'd do extremely well.
I've never spoken to Tom about it, but I would have to imagine he's tried. I feel like he would have tried that year that he had AJ and Meadow. Like you could have had the family photo without Tony.
I think she's on another level though.
Yeah, but I mean, she would unquestionably do well. She really would. But yeah, I mean, that's probably one of my only like real favorite pieces that you would honestly care about. You wouldn't care about like my full size Chevy Chase posters. None of that crap would matter.
No, all your weird masks for Halloween. You know, my weird masks are lucha masks, which you don't care about. Your weird masks are horror masks, which I don't care about. So there's a lot of some of my best items are like Funkos or things like that where you have no interest in it.
And I wouldn't say no, but my Funko taste is weird. It's mostly horror and animation. Like you have that sick Robert Downey Iron Man Funko. I would have much rathered 11x17 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of full size posters that are kind of insane, but my best full size posters are also all personalized. That's a whole other issue.
I mean, listen, if you died and those were being sold at a good price, I would not be above hanging a Too Sean full size poster on the wall, or just pile them with the other 70 that I have to hang at a later date.
My Terminator 2 full size, double-sided, signed by Arnold, all personalized. Oh boy, just thinking about it.
That T2 is original?
Yeah.
Ooh. Wait, Arnold's on that?
Yeah.
How?
So because he did the official pick signing through the mail that time.
Oh.
At Con, I mailed it away. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You're definitely gonna move you're gonna move that Laserdisc when Arnold dies. I'm calling
No,
it now.
because the Laserdisc isn't personalized.
Who cares? If you can get like $4,000 for that and you have the other one,
Nah. T2 is my favorite movie. No, that's something that's not for sale.
Listen, I think
not for sale.
If Casper Van Dien perishes in some sort of a parasailing accident, you'll move something if the market's popping, I think.
That's Starship Troopers. You're thinking confusing two movies.
I understand. I'm going to another one of your favorite movies. I'm saying you'd move something from that too.
I love Starship Troopers. T2 is my favorite movie. It's a different level. It means something different.
Because I don't fully give you credit for not selling any Hulk, because that market really didn't go anywhere. And the proof is in how much I bought and how good the prices I paid on most things I bought were. So that's why I think it was easy to not sell Hulk. If Hulk would have gone like Warrior level, I don't know. I think you would have moved a couple.
Yeah, the Hulk market, it's a fascinating one. Just nothing ever happened.
I know.
It's flopped on its face, which is fine. And then let the fakes flood the market, which only makes matters worse. But let's keep moving on the mailbag. We got another email from Charles.
Yes. Which of your celebrity photos and autographs your family, friends, and colleagues are most impressed by? And students. I don't think I said students, because Charles is a fellow teacher. And it's funny, he saw us before I get to the question, he saw us at the Reese Witherspoon. But I think he's been hearing you for too long. He said that he wasn't sure if you would want to socialize, if we would want to socialize, since as teachers, maybe we don't want to socialize when we're not teaching. I mean, listen, I just have my best socializing when I'm not teaching, and I also socialize while I'm teaching. So, I mean, I'm always open for business.
Yeah, I mean, I have to keep kayfabe a little bit, but I am totally willing to obviously say hello at some of these events. But, my public persona is what it is. It's hard for me to clash with that.
Yes.
But, this is an interesting one, because most people don't really know how to react or respond to hobby-related things. Wouldn't you say that's fair?
Yeah, largely. But I think
when I post stuff on Facebook, most people where did you get that? They have no concept of what it takes or whatever for these things. So, but I guess start by answering his question, that we can dig deeper.
I know, Ira, who was also a teacher, I'm starting to see that there's a trend with teachers and this hobby, which is probably not great for the amount of lunatics that are teaching the children.
Not great for the profession. It's not.
No, it's very bad. But anyway, Ira will hang certain photo ops in his classrooms. I know he would probably. And Ira, if you want to drop in when we post the graphic, if you want to comment with your answer as a fellow educator, I mean, feel free. But I don't hang anything. The closest I have to an autograph is I have a replica of my signed Rumble 91 poster hanging behind my desk. I don't even know why. I just had a space on the wall that kind of fit. And I'm like, screw it. So I have that. But I don't have any photo ops hanging. So for colleagues and students, I think for students on my end, it would probably be Cardi B. People the kids went absolutely mental with that. A lot of my students that's all they know. To them, Taylor Swift doesn't even exist. It's all about it's all about the rappers and stuff of their era. Even my old rappers, they don't really give a crap about. So Cardi B was probably the one that they're all no way, that's fake. And it is very much real. So Cardi B for that. I think for my family members, I guess Keith Richards was one that a lot of the family members on both my side and my wife's side kind of went nuts about. And I guess Kobe. Those would be the three I would go with. Cardi with the students, and I guess Kobe and Keith on the adults. How about you?
So believe it or not, the one that the students have gone the crazy. Oh, I mean, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the students always go crazy for if I show them that. Honestly, you're gonna laugh. JoJo Siwa.
I don't think my kids would give one crap about JoJo Siwa.
Well, more for the ironic humor of it. That's those are the students who I know pretty well. They do the ironic humor piece of it. That was a big one for them. That got a huge reaction. Look, in my class, I actually I don't know if I've ever showed you this. I made a frame display with 2 of the signed prints from the Romeo and Juliet signing, and then my photo op with Leonard and Olivia all in a frame together. So my photo op with Leonard and Olivia hangs on the wall, and if I'm going to be honest, not a single one of them has given it a second glance. At all. You know what?
You left that up this summer with the summer school in there?
I lock it up in the closet.
Okay. I mean, everyone was going to definitely try to steal that photo of you and Romeo and Juliet.
Listen.
I don't blame you. That's why I hang the replica. No one's stealing that. I mean, feel free. I'll print another one for $4.
Yeah, so I mean, that's that for them. I'm trying to think if there's any. I mean, over the years, keep in mind, I've been doing this a lot. I've been at my job a lot longer than you have too. So, like years ago, I'm trying to remember all these things now. I mean, The Rock was a big one years ago for sure. There was one kid who he was huge into WCW, if you could believe it. So he saw like Psychosis and Ric Flair and Jushin Liger and Masa Chono. He went crazy for those, but that's an unusual one, I must admit. I'm trying to think of historically other ones that have gotten a lot of attention. Not that much really from family members. I could tell my Reese Witherspoon one from the other day got a lot of attention from family members. A lot. When I did that, and you didn't do this one, when I did the Elizabeth Warren event, that got a lot of attention. Because it was also very timely at the back when it was happening, back when she was running for president. That was a big one. Trying to think of other things that people go crazy for. Arnold. I mean, Arnold's one that people go crazy for.
Well, you had you had the group op with your dad, so that was definitely going to be like catnip for the family, I imagine.
Absolutely, yeah. No, pretty much what you'd expect is what people like, and what's funny is what other people like isn't necessarily what I like.
Yeah,
So like, the stuff that I pop for, most of it gets no reaction.
Yeah, I mean, my aunt is probably one of my best followers on Facebook. Like anything I post, basically, she pops for. So she's great. A lot of people just sort of, they get excited about a lot of this stuff. But I mean, I know there's people I'll see online that like they'll get a photo up, and I'm bored in line waiting for the next photo up, and I'll sort of like look over their shoulder, and they will message that photo up to like 15 different chats. Look who I just met. Look who I just met. I don't do that. I am not sending it really to anyone. Unless it's like, if I meet someone that I know that like my buddy is like obsessed with, I'll text it over as like, aha, look at this. So I don't do that. Like, so I just sort of post it, and whoever sees it, sees it. If they don't see it with the algorithm, who knows?
So I'm going through some of my albums. Zendaya got a lot of play. A lot of people went crazy about Zendaya. Did you go to that one or no?
No.
You got her though?
I didn't.
Oh wow! Why did you pass on that?
I don't know. It was one of those deals where you went in once to buy, right, and then you went back to do it.
Yeah,
that turns me off. I didn't care about her at that point. I mean, arguably, I still really don't. But I know my wife loves. My wife actually popped for Sydney Sweeney, and then she got mad at me because I didn't get the hell's it called, Euphoria print sign. And I explained to her how she's not on any of the poster images for Euphoria, and it just wouldn't be as good because it's not her picture. And like, I'm not starting a project. Like, why would I do that? And she really didn't entertain all that hobby reasoning I was doing. She kind of just waved me off and said that I should have done Euphoria. So yes, I guess Sydney Sweeney was one that my wife actually popped for a little bit.
Who else got a big pop? I'm looking. Arnold got a big pop. What about?
I mean, for me, Stallone for sure, because I had family and friends messaging me that they saw me on the cover of TMZ on the front page. So that between it being Sly and me being on TMZ, I got a lot of messages about that, to my chagrin.
Jane Fonda got a lot of play, which is interesting. Which is interesting for me, because she's not a hugely popular person, but I guess in her moment. Looking through anything else, that was really it for that. I think, yeah, that's. I guess that's it's weird what people like and what people don't like. It's very hard. Yeah. It's very hard to know. It doesn't matter of what they see and what pops across their feed, because that's a whole other thing. People don't see everything, and then they just kind of passes them by. I'm trying to look at my music folder. Anything in my music folder? I think
Rihanna. I imagine, right? She must have popped some people for you.
Let me look. I'll put Rihanna here. No, Rihanna really didn't get that level of.
Wow.
Rihanna was 2011. That's almost 15 years ago.
Yeah. Time flies when you're miserable in lines, I guess.
Fergie did better than Rihanna at the time. Just, I guess, because of when it was. So Fergie was huge at that time.
Listen, it's actually when you look at the different stats of like the chart topping hits and different things, it's actually crazy. Rihanna is so high on all these lists as far as like sales and metrics and all this stuff, and she hasn't released music in like 8-9 years. Like if she was active all this time, that would have been probably the biggest like musical artist of all time as far as like popularity. So I mean, the fact that we got that at Macy's is pretty crazy.
It really is. It really is. It's wild. But yeah. So I mean, I hope that's a satisfying answer to the question. It's hard. It's very hard. I'm looking through my albums. I have so many pictures, so many, and it's like, and autograph wise. So this is going to be kind of a weird thing, but no one really knows what I have, because most of it's boxed up. Very little is. I mean, like what I have displayed right now on my. Have we ever talked? We've never talked about this. What we have displayed in public, or for people's consumption. So, like in my living room, I have 2 displays. Really, I have a Saves the Day, the band from New Jersey display, which has a limited edition jacket of theirs and 2 signed vinyls that I got done in person. That's my one display. And then above my computer desk, I have a Bernie Sanders display with the action figure that I got through the mail from his campaign, signed, and 4 8x10s that I got from a consigner on rack during his presidential campaign in that display. And then I also have in my living room, I have a couple of the large size Game of Thrones Funkos on a little bookshelf thing. And then on the other side, I took away the autographs are all gone. That's it. That's what I have on display. Nothing else. So in my old place, I had a couple more full-size posters because I had the stairwell where I put things like going up the stairwell, but I don't have that now. So those are not up. That's it. That's all I got, in display. So people don't really know.
Objectively speaking, you really don't display your coolest. You don't put your best foot forward as far as what you display.
Who's coming here to look at it? There's no one here. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I mean, you hang that Terminator poster. I mean, I'm sure you're going to have a lot different reaction than like Saves the Day, unless a lot of your friends really pop for that band. I don't think anyone I know would even know who the hell they were, me included.
Yeah, but that's look.
That matters to you, and you're the one that sees it every day. That's what matters.
Yeah, it's not a museum,
I used to have stuff hanging. I'm like redoing so much in my house. A lot of it's off the walls now, but like I know that Godfather 2 Coppola framed print that's actually still hanging because I mean with a framed piece, even though I'm redoing stuff, it's safer on the wall than anywhere else. That but like you said, who really comes over and sees this? Like my father-in-law would like walk around like it was a museum every time, and he would sort of pop for a lot of it. But I mean, I don't have like tours, so it's like who's really seeing it for real? I'll definitely once I get things set up the way I want and like start rehanging stuff, I'll start sort of showing off. Like maybe that's a future. It might be a future like post, but maybe not a weekly post, maybe a monthly post of like show offs, like something that you have displayed. I got to figure out how to like make that snappy, and we can start seeing a little bit more.
Most of us don't really have things displayed like that. I mean, there are people who do. There are people who have a man cave and all this stuff. I just don't have that, so it is what it is.
You just got to make your whole house a man cave. That's the answer.
Yeah, so I'm afraid of. It becomes too gaudy and absurd.
Impossible.
Actually, you know who else who did really well? Leonard Nimoy. You never did Nimoy, right?
No.
That was from 2009. I got Nimoy.
Oh, I mean, if we're going to look at it this way, that's a whole different ballgame. If we start looking at people that died, like when I posted my Robin photos, when Robin died, I mean, people went absolutely nuts. When you reposted or reshare it for the death.
I don't repost like that. But this is
that's a whole different story.
Yeah, maybe that's something that's an interesting like social experiment to try too, like reposting certain. I don't like doing that. I find it tacky to repost when someone dies. Selling all their autographs online, sure. Reposting their picture, is there a logic to that? No.
Well, yeah, I think there actually is. You just do it for the financial gain. You don't want to. You're not doing it to brag or to pay some weird tribute. Which I don't really do it to pay tribute either. It's mainly to brag. I'll be honest about it.
So there you go. What So I think that I hope that covers as an answer to his
Yeah,
question.
I absolutely love. Yeah, I mean, guys, listeners out there, this is awesome. I love getting these questions. I've been a little laxed on posting the mailbag graphic, but text, DM, I mean, shout it to me in traffic, like wherever you see us or can reach us. Shoot questions our way, because I mean, this is fun. I certainly, like you said, I hope we answered the questions well. I hope that we gave a little insight into our insanity. Anyone else that wants to sort of share their answers to the envious question, feel free to comment on the show graphic. Keep in mind, this is not Photo with Friday, so you don't have to go commenting. Save them for Friday, pal. We don't need all these photo ops on the show graphic. But I mean, and same with Charles. If Charles wants to share, as a fellow teacher, I'd be intrigued to see who your students especially are most impressed by. So if you want to shoot an email response or something, just let us know what your people are most wowed by.
So what's upcoming for us? I mean, I feel like we say the same thing every time, but the problem is we've mapped out our fall so meticulously that nothing's changing. So we got chill out. The plan right now is to try to hit both. I'm going to be honest. It's very, very difficult to do that when Chiller just announced its photo op times. Chill Out still hasn't announced its photo op times. That's a challenge.
It's a challenge, but here's the deal. If Friday passes us by, that's all we can do. Because I mean, Chill Out is not Sunday. There is no tomorrow for Chill Out. And Chiller on Sunday, that's a risky game to begin with because people leave. So
not if you're doing a pro op. A pro op's a pro op, But
so I don't know. I mean, for me, Chiller, Huey Lewis is 220 on Saturday for the pro op, and I got to figure out when the hell Gene is, and then beyond those two, I can kind of map it out, I guess, accordingly between them. If somehow Gene Simmons is 2:00, I mean, then you're kind of screwed. But I feel like Huey's going to probably have a line that, since I'm not doing an autograph just to make some financial cuts, I don't know if I want to deal with it. So we'll see.
And just to be clear, you've pre-ordered nothing for these shows, right?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I shows like this, I hate to say, but I don't want to deal with the pre-order situation anymore. When they're not going to announce the times for things, I don't feel good about it. So I pre-ordered nothing. So I didn't even buy admission. Did you buy admission anything?
No, I probably should though, because it seems like, I mean, I'm not going to try to, I'd rather pay the full price than try to be that guy and be like, hey, Tom, hook me up on the $10. I don't care. So I'll probably just pre-order the admission when I'm sure I'm going, just to lock that in for the $10. If it's $20 at the door, why pay $10 more? That's my logic. Chiller, I will walk my ass right up to the door. I mean, I already didn't. I think it might be cheaper if you pre-order, but I don't, and I didn't, and I'm happy with that. And I don't know. I mean, the way you were talking before, I don't even know if you're going to be there. Your next date might be Rhode Island.
Yeah, I really have to. Honestly, I need Chill Out to announce the photo op times. It's very, very, very frustrating that it hasn't been announced yet. And the show's a week away. Now it has to happen. It has to get the times out so we can make plans and figure things out.
Yeah, but I mean, I will be chilling out at Chiller regardless of your attendance. I'm going with a Golden Ring Brian, and I will be there regardless with my metas, and we'll see what's going on. After that, we have Rhode Island. I guess barring some catastrophic cancellation string, I assume you are still locked in on that, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And Oaks, are you buying pies or you're coming with me? Did you ever decide on that?
I have to get Robert Patrick, unless you're going to take my Laserdisc for me.
The thing is, I'm not doing autograph. I'm just going to do an op. I don't know if I'm going to go through the line. I have the Nun, and I have to deal with Linda Blair with Brian. So I wouldn't want to make a guarantee I'll be able to get through that line.
Oh, so you're going to do a pro op with Robert Patrick?
I don't know. If I don't have time, I have no choice. I don't know what the Nun's going to draw like. I didn't think Art the Clown was going to draw like he did at that last show. She's not Art the Clown. Her movie, there hasn't been, but the Conjuring universe is pretty hot right now. So I don't know. I don't know if I'll have a chance. If I was confident I would have a chance, I would be happy to take it. We can talk off air.
I guess. I mean, because really what I need is that. And so I would, if I have to go for that, I have to go for that. But it's gonna burn my nuts to have to go for it.
Well, I mean, honestly, you probably wouldn't want to go. I would do you a big favor. I already told Brian on our way back. I got to stop at the Cracker Barrel.
Why?
I love Cracker Barrel, and it's out there. You drive past it. So that is a must. Every time I go to Oaks, actually not the last time with you, but I went with my wife. We stopped at Cracker Barrel. And I already told him, I said, get ready for Cracker Barrel. And you would probably want to kill yourself at the Cracker Barrel. So
somehow it went from every time to once.
Well, yes, once, but I mean, it should be every time. I got traditions. Traditions don't make themselves, man. You got to start it somewhere.
All right,
and then we of course have the big event.
Yeah, big event. We got our guy, the boys, Swipe Right, along with WWE Evolve champion Jackson Drake. He retained his championship in a brutal match over Bryce Donovan, which actually sent Bryce Donovan straight out of the company. So we're going to have those three there at the table. And, of course, with Emily J. the Stunner as well at big event.
And I wonder if Emily J. may be on a certain list by the time the big event comes around, because WWE announced last week that there was going to be a follow-up ID class coming soon. And, I'm speaking and speculating with zero inside information. I have not asked anyone we know. I have not done anything like that. But wishful thinking, that would be pretty cool.
I agree. So once again, if you're shopping for autographs, check out www.markedoutcollectibles.com or our eBay store at Marked Out Collectibles. To contact us for any reason, email markedoutcollectibles@gmail.com or join the Marked Out Autograph Collecting community on Facebook. And we've been announcing for the past few months, but we are doing our signing with Swerve and Goldberg. We have metallic print pre-orders available. We will not be taking any send-ins or printing any inventory on these. So whatever you buy, we print and sell, and then these designs disappear.
November 1st is the deadline. That I need to be able to safely, and we've had issues with the stuff getting lost in the mail. I refuse to do it closer to the show than that. So November 1st, and they all go away after that.
So our Jackson Drake pre-orders for prints, in case you haven't, you're not able to attend, those pre-orders are live. Are the other Swipe Right alive yet or no?
Swipe Right is alive. I haven't added new ones yet, but it's all the stuff from the last round at WrestleCon, which we never guarantee inscriptions just because, things happen and you don't want to. But these guys will sign inscriptions. They don't care. So, if you want this autograph in your collection right now for some of these older prints, we got them. You can get them right now. Don't wait for big event. But if you want it personalized, you want it signed to you, you want a quote, you want whatever, that is what we're offering with these. So a lot of the favorite prints that we've had from other rounds, I will be offering again. And with Jackson, we have a bunch of new offerings that are awesome, I think. And Brad and Ricky, I still am working on a couple more new designs that I will be adding, but they are open for business right now. I still have to do Emily J. I will probably attempt to do that today on what I have left of my day off, just to get it all up and running by Monday.
So yeah, it's weird because it's a month away, but it feels like it'll be here tomorrow, and that's always how these things happen. So if you're interested, if you're going to make this happen, make it happen and place your order, because I don't think we're getting these guys in after November. We've said it a bunch of times already. There's only so many ways you can say it. I think they're done with us after November. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm pretty confident I'm not.
Yeah, is it possible we have Emily J again down the line? Possibly, but the other three, I think they are relocating to Orlando. Jackson Drake. Especially. This dude's been the champion now since the promotion started. And he's growing by the day. So, if you want what's left, interestingly enough, what's left of Vanity Project is exactly what we have. So you will be getting and have the opportunity to get a full Vanity Project group up. Zeta and Bryce are not in WWE's ecosystem anymore. This is Vanity Project. what you saw on NXT is going to end up being Vanity Project, I think. So this is the full group. This is complete Vanity Project right now. So they are at our table, and so should you.
I couldn't said it better. So I think that just about wraps us up for this week. Anything else to add?
I'm good.
Same. So and then we have to just talk for a minute off air to figure out what our schedule for the next couple weeks is going to look like for obvious reasons. So for markedout.com, Marked Out Collectibles, and Marked Out Radio, I'm Sean.
And I'm Dana.
And we will see you next week at Chill Out and Chiller.